you can just piggyback off what I said because I want to go first. Jeff Criswell, I think I said it last time on the last pod. I think he's next up. I think he's number 6, number 7, number 8 in the rotation, so to speak. You already kind of know what you have in Noah and Carl. You got Ty Block, and then it's Criswell. As fastball sits 94. His cutter had a 33% whiff rate, which I thought was pretty nice in Albuquerque. And if you go look at Jeff Criswell's game by game in the PCL, he ended September fantastic. There was something figured out in that time. Strikeouts went up, innings went up, pitch count went down. So Jeff Criswell, we traded Chad Smith for him, who I think also got DFA'd.
Yeah,
so I think we won that trade, so to speak, at least as of now. Once he makes his major league debut. So I'm saying Jeff Criswell for just the simple fact that he's next up, but his stuff will also be there.
Yeah, and he'll have to figure the home run stuff out, get more on the ground. I think the Rockies are always working towards that with guys. So this could be a promising year, and he's a sleeper to potentially hit that 5th spot out of camp. Like I think he has the stuff to be up there with, your Peter Lambert and your Noah Davis guys who are kind of fighting for that right now. But my number 1 is Tanner Gordon. He got to AAA and just kind of lit it on fire. He had a couple really good starts. We had learned in the not in the offseason, midseason, and after that trade that his stuff is not anything special. He's kind of a tweener in a lot of ways. Like it's a lot of good and it's nothing great, but there's maybe some projection that's kind of arguable, like whether or not he's actually going to add more mass, throw harder. And if he does throw a little harder, he's going to be that mid-90s guy with pretty good command and a couple secondary pitches, a breaking ball, and I think he throws a changeup as well. I think he has very good odds to start some games for the Rockies, and between him and Criswell, it's sort of a toss-up as who might be next. They both are, could be on the 40-man any day, and not in the offseason, but during the season, it's like they need a guy. One of those is going to be that next guy up. I think they've kind of passed Carl Kaufman unless Carl like really does something this offseason to elevate his game. Ty Block maybe is kind of in that hybrid role always, but Gordon and Criswell, they want to be like, all right, these are starters. Let's keep them as starters as long as we can.
Agreed. My number 2/3, it's pretty much the same thing for each one of these guys, so I'm just going to double up. Joe Rock and Carson Palmquist. I'm going to give the nod to Joe Rock as my number 2 because he's a friend of the pod, but they're just big lefties with unique arm movements that have big strikeout numbers. Palmquist will have a little bit longer road. He's going to probably start in AA this year, where Joe Rock did all AA last year, so he's definitely next, kind of closer to that. But it's just having a big strikeout guy coming out of the pen, trying to figure out your middle release, those 1 to 2 innings where you don't know what you're going to do with once the starter goes out. I think a Joe Rock and Carson Palmquist can come in and kind of fill those in with big strikeouts, but then also give them that rotation. We've seen the Rockies kind of like to ease into bringing in players. They kind of did with Noah Davis. They did with Carl Kaufman. They're not just going to throw them into the fire. So I think Joe Rock and Carson both have that ability to come in and do that. And their strikeout numbers are the best in the system. Like it's insane what they can do, and the lefty piece. So looking at kind of what the roster kind of gives in the prospect list, I think those two are kind of the same vein, but one just a little bit older than the other, professionally, so to speak.
Yeah, and I think both those guys are sort of those some of the brightest hopes in the system. Just there's a lot of boxes checked, and sort of that theme with Criswell. Maybe nothing exceptional about them. I think that what they're doing is combining the sum of their parts to just dominate in the minors. But as they go, things might start to level out. But I think both will still be productive and probably crack a big league rotation very soon. So I think those are good picks. I'm going to go with another lefty. Ryan Rollison is my 3. Again, had Criswell as my 2. Rollison at 3. The ghost of Rollison. He is, who knows if he's real anymore. But we did get a report, actually, I think yesterday, from Thomas Harding that Rollison is throwing again. He had another shoulder cleanup. Some of these procedures, like, we don't hear about them like at all. The guys just disappear, and it's like, what happened to him? Like, we don't know what happened with Sam Weatherly and McCade Brown. They're just kind of gone. And it happened with Ryan Rollison, but we do know now he is throwing. You would think by spring training he's going to be like ramped up a good bit. And at one point, he was like the sixth starter. He was right there on the cusp of pitching in the rotation, and that was when they had a healthy rotation.
Yep.
So this is someone I don't know how highly they think of him anymore. Who knows what the shoulder injury has really done? He might not be a even like a low 90s guy anymore. He might be like 89, 91. Whereas you ideally want to see him like 92, 94. But the pedigree's there. Great feel for that breaking ball. That's what got him drafted in the first round. So if he can just really come back, build up that strength again, maybe this is the shoulder procedure that he needed to get back to himself. So I'll go with Ryan Rollison. I think at some point this season he will at least debut, whether or not that's in the rotation or the bullpen, but kind of viewing him as a starter for now.
And I think you said the same exact thing this time last year, which just sucks.
Yeah,
but
it's probably
he's still there. He's still on that talent list, and he is throwing that. That was a nice update by Harding that he gave out there. There's two with this Dugan Darnell. He's on the cusp. He finished in AAA last year. He's looking at kind of the list of relievers that haven't made their debut. He's like number 2, number 3 next, and he's the whole reason we have this pod still going. So we got to give him a nice little shout out to Dukes there. But his stuff plays. Like, it's not just us hyping him up. He has done it everywhere he's gone. 25% swinging strike on his changeup, which was 9th in the PCL with over 100 pitches last year. And 44% whiff rate with that. So that changeup is nasty. That was something he was perfecting last offseason. He worked it. He was telling us last year, like, he was figuring out how to pitch and how to keep batters off balance instead of just having, I'm going to throw first pitch fastball, second pitch fastball, third pitch changeup. He was working on how to actually pitch against the hitter that was given, and he figured that out. And that changeup is absolutely insane. Just the drop that it has. It's one of my favorite pitches to watch. And so his talent is there. I'm going to be super hyped when he's in purple. It's going to be dope. Michigan's going to be rolling over here. But he's definitely next. He's got to be next on that list. Kid Dugan the props.
I think he's a good start in AAA away from like, all right,
sure.
let's give this kid a shot. I mean, he's defied every expectation, and there's legit MLB stuff there. Like that changeup split change that he's got is an MLB pitch, to say the least. It's really good. So I'm excited for him. He was my number 2 relief pitcher, so Perfect. He snagged him. I got to snag one away from you now, Juan Mejia. This is kind of one of the obvious ones. He's already on the 40-man, so it's sort of cheating. But he just has such an explosive arm, and his breaking ball could be a real weapon. Potentially an upper 90s guy with a real hammer breaking ball. So watch out for Mejia. He could get the job done very soon. The control stuff is a little weird. He's got to clean that up, but the stuff is there to be like a back of the bullpen kind of guy.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to see him develop. I'm going to go out on a limb. This is my hot take. I think he does make quick work of Albuquerque, and I think he's in purple in late July, August. Reverse that. He's going to make quick work of AA. He'll be in Albuquerque by June, July, and maybe a September call-up. His stuff is just too nasty not to. And then I know you love this guy. I might have taken him from you, but Seth Halverson was the one draft pick that made his way up the ranks. Did he pitch AAA last year?
Not quite, but he got
AA. He was there. That the triple digits. Nobody's in the system now that Michael Peterson left. I don't think anybody's in the system with triple digits. Halverson is that guy. It'd be sweet to have like Justin Lawrence and Halverson kind of go back and forth with those different looks. Big different power would be sweet. Obviously the Rockies see something at Halverson. I think there's a quick trajectory to the top. Wouldn't be surprised if he started in AAA, but they'll probably start him with AA just because I think the competition and what the PCL is, you got to be a little bit worried about. So I think he starts in AA, makes quick work, and I can see him in purple too pretty quickly, just the way they ran him out there last year.
Yeah, and that'd be awesome to get a draft pick like in the big leagues within.
He's so sick.
A year and a half, like by the end of that first full season. He definitely could. And last year he touched 101 a lot in college. Not a lot, but he touched 101 multiple times in college, hit 100 a good bit. There was inconsistency in college, so I'm curious to see how like the pro like arm care and all that works out for him. Like, because if he can sit routinely like 98 to 100, He'll hit the big leagues very, very soon.
That would be so much fun, man. That'd
Yeah.
be so much fun.
And it would be a real like boost to like what everyone thinks about their draft and their scouting department. Like I think they do a good job on that amateur side, and they just don't get credit because so much is stuck together with the Rockies of not being great. But my third reliever is Brendan Hardy, who we talked about on the Patrick Lyons pod about a month and a half ago after the Rule 5 draft. Taken from the Mets in that minor league section of it. He pitched in Double-A last year in just a couple of outings, but it's been rock solid everywhere he's been. The control is pretty good. He's in and around the strike zone a lot, but the strikeout stuff it's pretty ridiculous. I don't have the numbers in front of me right now, how many strikeouts he got last season, but it was close to like 2 an inning. Was sort of his pace. He was going crazy with the strikeouts. So he's someone he's 93, 96, really good breaking ball. So I'm hopeful that he can be that like minor league Rule 5 guy that actually makes an impact on the big league team. They have a lot of guys who do well in the minors and contribute valuable time, stability to those minor league teams. But I think Hardy can be that guy that they take and actually makes a big league kind of, impact relative. It's hard to guess whether guys are going to like really hit the ground running at the big league level, but I think he's a good bet to do that.
I think you're right with that. Yeah. Across those 3 leagues. So Mike got you 54 strikeouts, 34 innings pitched across 3 leagues. That's a